Hello everyone, it is quarterfinals time in this season's UEFA Champions League, and Juventus, who unfortunately are Serie A's only remaining representative in Europe, are coming up against the might of La Liga giants Barcelona. Now Juve of course are coming off their first loss in 16 matches, having gone down 3-2 to Napoli in the second leg of their Coppa Italia semi-final, though to be fair, they were very much playing for the aggregate score and basically just did what they needed to do to get through. So they can be forgiven for losing on the day. One thing that those matches against Napoli showed is that Juve can suffer. They can absorb pressure when they need to for long stints in a game and still get the results that they need. They did that in the first leg of the Coppa Italia tie, in the first half when Napoli basically dominated. However, Juve just sat back, they absorbed it, and in the second half came out and ended up with a 3-1 victory. In the second leg last week, they absorbed a huge amount of pressure, particularly in that second half, where I guess the reason for De Laurentiis, Napoli's president, coming out and saying Juventus played catenaccio football, which, you know, again, it was Juve doing what they needed to do to get the result. And fair play to them, they are very effective at doing it. So Juventus again showing that they can sit back and absorb pressure, which is key against a team like Barcelona. And given that they have played Napoli 3 times over the last month or so, it's probably the best kind of preparation you can have for coming up against the Spanish giants, given that Napoli and Barcelona play a very similar game. They are both high in possession and they create a lot of chances. In fact, both teams are amongst the top in Europe for both possession and shots on goal. Obviously, Barcelona are another step up in quality, but Juventus have shown that they can lift to those levels when needed. Formation-wise, Max Allegri has continued with that 4-2-3-1, which he has played for the majority of 2017. In Saturday's win over Chievo, he started with Daniele Rugani and Andrea Barzagli in the centre of that four-man defence, which possibly hints that Leonardo Bonucci and Giorgio Chiellini will start in Tuesday's game against Barcelona. In attack, Gonzalo Higuain, of course, has been key of late. He's scored 4 goals in his last 2 matches, and if his match against Napoli was anything to show, it showed that, I mean, he doesn't need much to create an opportunity and to score. His first goal, where it was basically out of nothing, he just turned, shot, and changed how that whole tie played out. And that's key. Higuain can do that, and Barcelona will be wary of that. However, another figure who probably doesn't get as much headlines as Higuain is Paulo Dybala, who, particularly in the game against Chievo, showed that he is very central to Juve's attack, and his link-up play with Higuain is, well, I mean, it's quite amazing at times, so it could be crucial in what might be limited chances on goal, but if they can continue being clinical, it could very much make the difference. They will hope to have Mario Mandzukic back for Barcelona. He has missed the last 2 matches with an inflamed knee, with Stefano Sturaro having filled in on that left wing position. So they will hope to have him back and be at full strength. Of course, a key factor for the first leg is Juventus will be at home at the Juventus Stadium, where they have a 21-match unbeaten streak in all UEFA competitions. Against Spanish opposition, the record isn't great, 18 wins from 51 matches in total, though again, at home, they've lost on just the 2 occasions, and the last time was back in 2004 against Deportivo La Coruña. It will be interesting to see how Allegri's team comes out, given that they have the advantage in the first leg. Obviously, Juventus have shown week in, week out that they are patient and they are very structured, and that's exactly the game they need to play. They can't go out and rush and try and get a lead early, or by forcing it and losing their structure. They need to play their patient game and just hope that by playing that, the results will come automatically, which granted seems to happen on a weekly basis. Going to Barcelona, who actually come off a very disappointing 2-0 loss to Malaga on Saturday, where they actually had the opportunity to jump Real Madrid into the lead of La Liga. Granted, in the Malaga loss, Gerard Piqué and Ivan Rakitic were suspended and Andres Iniesta was on the bench. However, still disappointing nonetheless. I guess that match in itself did show some key vulnerabilities with Barcelona, given that, yes, they do dominate most of their games. They had 67% of possession in that match. However, it was only enough to win the shot count 11-8, and of course, went on to lose the game 2-0. And to be fair to Malaga, it probably should have been 3-0, given that one of the goals looked to have been wrongly disallowed for offside. So it's a bit of a concern there, and I guess another thing is that it did show their vulnerability on the counter-attack, which all 2 or 3 of Malaga's goals did come. And Juventus will be quite happy to play that game. As we've mentioned before, they are happy to sit back and absorb and then hit them on the counter. So Juventus might well be ready to take advantage of that wherever possible through the likes of Mario Mandzukic or Juan Cuadrado on the wings, hitting them with speed and then possibly getting it into the likes of Higuain and Dybala in the box. Formation-wise, Barcelona have favoured a 4-3-3 for the majority of the season. However, 6 of their last 8 matches, they've actually started with a 3-man defence. Granted, 2 of the matches where they did start with 4 at the back were away from home. So, given that this is the Champions League, they are away from home, and it is up against the strength of Juventus, you would be surprised if they went to Juventus Stadium with just 3 at the back. In saying that, they did start with a 4-3-3 away to PSG, where they lost 4-0, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. A key factor, again, for this match is Sergio Busquets will not be playing. He'll be serving a 1-match ban, so they won't be at full strength in that central midfield, which means they might not be as dominant as they usually are or as they'd like to be. However, they will still be strong, no doubt. In attack, putting the Malaga game aside, I guess, Barcelona have been in good goal-scoring form. Luis Suarez, prior to Saturday's match, had scored 5 from 5, while Lionel Messi has scored 11 from his last 9 matches. So, I mean, we're all aware of the talent and the ability of Neymar, Lionel Messi and Suarez, so they are always going to be a threat, no doubt, but Juventus can, as I constantly say, they can absorb pressure, and that will be quite an exciting matchup to see, that attacking trident against Juve's defensive line. A key point to possibly keep an eye on during the first leg is that Neymar, Ivan Rakitic, and crucially Gerard Piqué at the back are all one booking away from a one-match suspension, so that could be key going back to the Nou Camp for the second leg. In terms of their away form, Barcelona's hasn't been great. They've lost 2 of the last 3 in the Champions League. Against Italian opposition, they've won exactly 50% of their matches, so it's not too bad, and away from home, they've managed to get a result, a win or a draw, on 15 out of 20 occasions. Of course, as always, we want to know what you think, so be sure to give us your predictions for the first leg and who you think will actually go through to the semi-final. I think Barcelona, for the first leg at Juventus Stadium, would be quite happy with a draw and will give them some confidence in finishing the job at the Nou Camp. In saying that, Juve have shown that they can go to the likes of the San Paolo and in what is a very hostile atmosphere and still get the job done and do what they need to do. So on the flip side, a result for Juventus, even if it is a draw, isn't the worst thing. I don't see them having any reservations or fear in finishing the job at the Nou Camp. In saying that, obviously, if they can get an early goal, would be obviously a great help to them. And if anyone can defend a lead, it is Juve. So I think it is going to be very close 2 legs. It's going to be an exciting 2 legs. And let's hope there's 180 minutes of quality football for us to watch. So, of course, be sure to keep an eye on our YouTube channel, as I'm sure we'll have some kind of review or analysis after the match, and of course we'll preview the second leg as well. So I think that's all for now. Until next time, ciao.